If I was to speak to my old 15-year-old self, being 26 now, and give some messages of what would have been incredibly useful for me to hear back then to build the confidence that I wanted, to get out of my own way, to have less insecurity, to have less fear of doing the things that I wanted, there would have been a few things that I really would have instilled into myself if I had the opportunity to go ahead and meet that guy. Meet that little shy and insecure kid who would literally tear up if his name was called in class and attention would be put on him. The moment that there was attention from a group setting, he couldn't handle the pressure. He felt like he was being judged. He didn't feel like he belonged anywhere. He was just incredibly shy. And now that I've gone through 11 years since that point, getting in shape, working for myself, helping other people transform their body and their mind, and really just delving into breaking through insecurity by insecurity by insecurity, I really would have instilled more belief into my younger version of self. You see, when I was younger, I always I always wanted things, but I didn't necessarily feel like I was deserving of those things. And I'm sure if you're watching this, you may be able to relate to that. You want all these things and you want a certain lifestyle, whether it's a partner, you want to be better in the dating realm, you want to be better when it comes to looking good, feeling good, and speaking up and actually doing something that you love, being around people that you love. I would have put a lot more belief of, hey, there is no difference between you and these people who you think deserve it and not you. For example, when I was in high school, there would always be like the cool kids and then I would be like the nerdy dude. And typically I would self-isolate a lot. So I had this story in my head that I was always just kind of the one who would be self-isolated, who wouldn't fit in because of maybe one situation when I was in primary school. For example, if I had a best friend and then someone else was introduced into the group and they got along better and then I ended up being left out, I would carry that narrative into future interactions and it would keep recreating. So if I was really to go back and I would just tell myself, man, like none of that stuff it doesn't have to repeat. And the only reason why it will keep happening is because you believe that's what you deserve. Because you are putting the energy out that will create that circumstance. You get me? So if that happens and you feel really hurt, maybe, you've gone through a breakup and you feel like cheated on, you feel like you weren't enough for that person or that friend or whatever it is. If there could have been so many reasons why that would have happened. Maybe you guys just weren't a good match for each other. But if you assume that is just what happens with you, and you bring that hurt into the next relationship, you will bring the energy in that will then push them away and create that reality. So the more that you identify with these negative things and these insecurities and these doubts, the more you will recreate them. And I'll tell my younger self, hey man, like I understand that it hurts, but understand that everything is your responsibility. It is your responsibility. And as much as maybe you don't feel like it was your fault, and maybe there were certain things out of your control, whether it's family environment or whatever it is, which a lot of the case it is. The only way to really change it is to assume complete responsibility and to recreate and to put the new energy of the life that you want into your actions. So the biggest thing I would say is like the sooner you can take full control and assume everything is your responsibility, the sooner you can recreate the way that you want. And that if you do want something different, it starts with you, not them. You see, I would always want them to initiate, treat me with love, treat me with this. But through the years, I realized that if I want love, I have to give it first. Whatever you give, you are full of. So if you were giving negativity and you were giving doubt and you're coming from a place of fear, it's what you hold the most. So everything tends to just mirror itself back at you. Because you put it out, it means you have. But if you put out love, it means you have love. And when you put out love, people feel it, and they're more likely to reciprocate it back with you anyways. So it's to assume complete responsibility and say, hey, look, I understand it can be tough and you can feel like a victim, But victim mentality, whether you're right or wrong, will not serve you. It's just how the world works. You assume complete ownership and control of what's in your control, which is what you put out and the energy that you approach every moment with. So from this place, you can choose what kind of world that you want, how you want it to look, what kind of relationships, how you want it to feel, and then lead with it. And don't do it for them, because there will be times where maybe you feel like they don't deserve it. But the thing is that if you put it on them, you affect you anyways. Because remember, what you give out, you possess. So not even for them, but for you, give love out. Give the reality and the energy that you want out to the people, regardless, because it will make your experience correlate with the world that you want. So assume responsibility and start putting out what you wish to receive. Start being the initiator of things, and don't expect them. Just be the example. And now operate everything that you do. If you want to get in shape, if you want to, focus on certain things in your career or relationships, everything that you do, you approach it with that, and you move on if it's a mismatch, but you don't judge. Zero expectation, come from the place that you really want to come from. And it can be hard when you got those doubts and insecurities and fears. But realize we all have them. Even the cool kids, even the people who maybe you never really felt like you got along with, they've got their own. And the more that you project negativity onto them, the more it'll be projected back at you. So for yourself, put out the energy that you wish to receive, no matter how hard it can feel sometimes. Realize that you're doing a disservice to everyone by putting how you respond in someone else's hands. And now you can recreate. You can set your goals, you can work towards them, but you put the energy out of what you wish to receive. I hope it helps.